Hi, Barbara.
Hi, Barbara.
Hi. What special plans do you
Dave.
have, David, for your birthday today?
Rotary.
It has been hanging out with family this morning and
Nice.
not working. And we're doing grabbing sandwiches and watching dinner and watching a sunset tonight as a family.
Oh,
Nice.
that's nice. Happy
What time
birthday.
should we be there?
What's that, Trevor?
What time should we be there?
Trevor, your invitation's still in the mail. You check that mailbox for you.
Do you have sun in Camarillo?
It's overcast today.
Yeah, mine too. We had a little rain this morning.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
David, why is your house torn apart?
You're living in Alaska?
What?
Why is your house torn apart?
You got
California doesn't get rain.
Oh, yeah. We're doing a little remodeling.
It looks like it. That looks like a lot of remodeling.
You got robbed.
There used to be a wall there.
What?
That's nice.
You cut out the.
Yeah.
You ripped out
And
the
actually,
entire
here's the other
bottom of his
thing.
house.
You can't necessarily see it because, well, we've put a great door in here that's 16 feet wide.
Wow.
Oh,
I don't
nice.
have
Great.
anything up here.
Are you doing?
Yeah, so it's
Let me come with you.
a much bigger bag.
Let me
It's a huge
turn off
entity.
my-
Are you not here?
So, and we still have a lot more. to
One
do.
day up here at June Lake, if you can see the street behind me.
Yeah, nice. Very nice, Carol.
Beautiful.
Yes, yes.
Beautiful.
Yes, we're up here with my brother and Chet's daughter and her husband and their 3 Great Danes.
Oh dear.
Wow.
Hey, Carol, I like your background better than anybody else's, and it's real.
There you go. There's the lake, yes, and the mountains, June Mountain. So
Wow.
yeah.
So Jill and Carol have the best idea. They're offsite, at least looking at something.
Yes.
Well, I don't know.
Hi, Dave.
Yeah.
Carol, how have you been?
I'm good. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, nice to see you. Are you at the office?
I'm at the office.
Oh my gosh.
Got stuff for Susan Murata to pick up, sitting here.
I'm coming today.
All right.
After the meeting.
How are you and your kids doing?
One of them's moving out in a week, thank God. The other one in about 5 weeks.
Wow.
Oh, they're not that old. Oh my gosh. Have I been gone that long? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, for
Opening up.
20 and 21.
Oh my goodness.
Are they both going back to school, Dave?
Yeah, they're both definitely going back to school. I'm of the opinion that they need to be out of the house, like taking challenges, figuring stuff out on their own,
So the school of hard
cleaning on their
knocks.
own.
Good.
Are they going to be on?
David,
campus?
what house?
What's that?
Are they going to be on
What
campus?
house? Oh, you only got walls.
No, they're both living off campus in apartments, but they both have their own rooms.
Okay.
Are they going to have to go
They're-
online, or are they going to be able to go back to school?
Colby's a senior in chemistry, so he's going to have to be at school in a lot of labs, working with what chemistry people do, I guess. And then the other one is in upper division accounting classes that are going to be in class also. So it's a little bit of both.
Mm.
So it's good. It's all good.
Hi, Tim Weaver.
Yeah,
I want to shout out to Ian. Thanks, Ian, for taking care of Hunter on Monday. Make sure you shoot him up good on Friday.
No problem, man. I'll take care of him.
Sweet.
Yeah, Lily, my oldest, is going to UCSB, and she just got an apartment because only a third of the freshmen are going to be on campus.
Yeah, it's great. And they're making the dorms like single rooms. They're not doubling up people, which is great.
Yeah. All the dorms, even the ones that were set up for 4 kids, are going to be all single. So I have no problem. And I agree with you. She needs to get the hell out of the house and figure out how to deal with people and live with people and solve problems and do her own laundry and clean up after herself. I agree.
Yeah.
I've got 2 kids moving away too. So They're moving in same college situations, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna miss her, but she needs to
Not
grow
really.
up. She's 18 already. So it's time to get out.
Right.
Mike Jansen, I love your background.
Oh, thanks.
Crazy, man.
Oh, it's the
Mike
Brady
Jansen's
Bunch.
gonna win on backgrounds. Yeah,
Love
we're sending our oldest off to Wisconsin in 2 weeks, and he's gonna be in the dorm.
Wasn't that the square for the dog, though?
Yes.
No, I think for the maid.
Right.
Yeah, that was
You should have
Alice.
your dog in that square, Mike.
College.
That's too funny.
My two girls are going to college too. One's already gone and one's going. And they have
Woohoo!
they have all kinds of contract tracing on campus and everything.
Where are they going, Michelle? Where?
Abigail's at Sonoma State right now.
Grandpa was on the bed.
They're living off campus and they're doing pretty good. And then Chloe's going to University of Utah. They invented a app that is contract tracing, and it lets
Hey,
you where you've been and who you've been in contact with.
Michelle, my brother-in-law is a professor at Sonoma State.
Oh, what does he teach?
He does. He's in the geology department and it does like GIS stuff. His name is his last name is Clark. He's a Professor Clark.
There's your baby girl. She's a biology major. I don't know if she's taking geology.
Yeah, she may not have run into him.
Yeah, but is he open and teaching and everything?
Yes. Yeah. He's teaching. It's going to be remote, even except for his labs and his field studies.
She's got 3% of their classes are in person, and she's got 3 hours of organic chemistry in person.
All I have to say is if someone wanted to know where I've been and what I was doing, that would not be information I'd want to reveal.
Hey, Vicky.
Hi, guys.
Paul versus
Zoe says hi.
How's your puppy doing?
She's great. She's great here. She's getting big. She learned how to swim a couple days ago. That was exciting. Yeah, but she's great. She's absolutely great. My daughter was here with her friends, and she went from bed to bed, sleeping with all of everybody.
Oh my God. She is a puppy. She's a handful.
She would get in bed with everybody, and they just loved it. But she's lonely now because they all left yesterday, and she doesn't know what to do with herself. So she's bothering me right now.
Oh my gosh. Hi,
Go play on the freeway.
Hi, Carol Robinson.
Hi, who's saying hi to me?
Janet Hartley.
Oh, hello. How are you? Welcome.
Thank you.
Hanging out
Wow,
today.
Janet, great to see you.
Hi,
Hey,
Chris.
Janet.
Hi.
Hi, Janet Hartley. Good to see you.
Hello, my dear.
Wow.
Hey, Friedel.
What's up?
We haven't seen you in about 1,000 years. Where the hell have you been?
Huh? I've been hiding, trying to avoid your dog that's sleeping with everyone.
Whoa. Not everybody, Dave.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that kind of sums it up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah.
Sharon Russell or Sharon? Yeah, who Sharon is that?
Our speaker.
Hi, Sharon.
Oh.
Welcome to our club.
She might not be on yet.
Michelle, Sharon is our speaker.
Hello.
Here I am.
Yay, welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, Sharon.
Glad to be
here.
Welcome, Sharon.
Thank you.
Hi, Crystal Doyle.
Hi, Crystal Evans.
Hi. Hi, Jason.
I thought I saw Patrick on the. I didn't see his picture.
He's in there somewhere.
Hi, Janet. Hey.
Zoe, stop.
Hi, Janet.
She answered you back, Vicky.
Zoe, come here, babe.
Oh, Ian, my wife's really looking forward to her root canal this afternoon.
Oh my gosh.
Everyone usually does.
Ian, I love your background. That is hysterical. I think there should be a vote of who's got the best background.
I agree.
That's a good contest.
Ian only does that so that you don't know whether he's there or not.
I'm going to go with Trevor's.
We could all just set Ian as the background for all of us.
Yeah, Ian, you have to add antenna to your picture.
Honestly, David Massey, I thought that was an actual fake background when you were sitting there, but obviously it's not. So.
No, that's what my downstairs looks like right now.
Oh my gosh, you must be
this is
doing a
the-
major remodel.
Hey, Mike, is that Moe's?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow, that is amazing.
That's awesome.
Batteries.
I figured if Trevor's gonna be at the nuclear plant, I might as well be at the bar.
Did somebody say bar?
Yeah.
I'm at Moe's.
Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Max.
Hi. Hi, Max. Hi, Jennifer.
Hey.
Hey, Jennifer.
What's up, Max?
Hey, I just saw the thing for 5240 to give that money, and they encourage it online, but they don't take credit. They don't let the little period show up. So I just paid $53, and I hope that works. Otherwise, you have to pay $5,240.
Yeah, don't do that.
Come on, step
Yeah,
it up.
that $53 crashed the system.
There's a range.
Hi, Jennifer Strong.
Hey, Jerry's back.
Where's the hospital?
Hi, Hater.
Again, on behalf of
Hi,
all
Trevor.
the readers,
Hi, Janet.
welcome to everybody.
Well, good afternoon, Rotary Club of Thousand Oaks. We're glad you're here. We have a great lineup for you today, so we're very excited to have you here. We're going to start off with what everybody's been waiting for, I think, which is the joke contest. Today we have quite the contestants. We have up today, we have Mr. Paul Boom Boom Dryman, who is in for the third round here, going against Susan Mad Splatter Murata. And I'm going to turn it over to Dave Massey, who's the ring announcer, to get this event going.
Susan, I don't want to know how you got that nickname, but
I
that's
don't
okay.
All righty, everybody. As is our tradition, we have tossed a coin, and Susan will be telling her joke first.
Okay. So, what is the difference between the Middle Eastern cities of Dubai and Abu Dhabi? Dubai doesn't like the Flintstones, but Abu Dhabi do. I think it's hilarious.
Paul Dryman, the winner for, what is it, 2 or 3 weeks in a row now?
Yeah, something like that.
Back healthy again. Let's hear your joke.
All right, because of Susan's, I'm going to switch gears. All right, here we go. Apparently, smoking cannabis can affect your short-term memory. Well, if that's true, what do you think smoking cannabis can do?
All right. Wow. 2 amazing jokes. Now we're going to launch the poll. The winner goes on to next week's. And David, can you tell us how many more rounds before we get to that unbelievable trophy that's about ready to be awarded? Still muted. Up. He's still muted. Okay.
Dave,
All right.
the finals
Go
are going to be on October 17th for our finals, and we'll have 2 weeks of semifinals of the top jokers from this section.
Awesome. All right, we're going to launch the poll and let's see who moves on Here we go. Put your vote in. Oh, this is a tight race. Oh my goodness. Whoa. Boom Boom versus Mad Splatter is really going to be close. All right, we're going to go down to 10 seconds. 9, 8, it is neck and neck. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, that's going to be it. Wow. It looks like we've got a new champion as Mad Splatter moves to the next round. Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, Susan, we'll wait to hear what
Yabba dabba do.
for next week.
Susan will be going up against Lois next week.
All right. Let's see. Now we're going to go to guest introductions, and I don't see Judy on. So Karen, would you make sure we get all of our guests introduced, please?
Yes, we have visiting back again, our favorites, Jill Hebert and Mike. I'm sorry, Jill Hebert, Jill Lederer and Mike Hebert, but I keep thinking of you as a couple, so pardon me. We have, for our first time, Janet Hartley, all the way from Las Vegas, and it's a big welcome to her. We haven't seen her. She reminded us that she moved away 4 years ago. I can't believe it. We miss your cakes and everything else and your smile. And we have wonderful Max Smith with his mother, Jennifer Strong. Max, so good to see you every week. And then we have our speaker, who is Sharon, and she will be introduced later. I think I've got everybody else, but if you're a visitor and I didn't say your name, please raise your hand. And I don't see anybody, so we're back to President David.
Thank you, Karen. And apparently, like horse racing, there has been an official inquiry that has been launched into this particular contest. We are going to send that over to the advisement board, and they will be rendering an opinion before this meeting's over as to whether or not there was a foul committed during this particular thing. So thank you for that inquiry coming from the field. Now we're going to turn it over to Carol Schreiber for inspirational moment and for the pledge. So,
Good
Carol.
for you, Tony. I can tell.
Where's Carol? Unmute, Carol. Unmute, Carol. There you go.
There, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. My inspirational moment has lady and some of her memorable words, and that lady is Audrey Hepburn. So Audrey Hepburn is one of the most beloved fashion and film icons of the 20th century. Known for her style and sophistication, Hepburn charmed the world with her dozens of memorable film portrayals, as well with her great heart, wisdom, humility, and devotion to helping others that defined her away from the set. She was an EGOT, winning Academy, Tony, Emmy, and Grammy Awards. The Belgian-born star never lost sight of where she came from or of her desire to give back. Her childhood experience suffering through a Nazi occupation marked her for life, and her memories of the eventual liberation and arrival of age would instill her with a deep sense of purpose that went beyond the silver screen. With 31 film credits to her name, Audrey always considered her greatest role to be a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador, where she helped children in Africa and Latin America until her death in 1993 at the age of 63. Upon her passing, her son set up the Audrey Hepburn Children's Fund to honor and continuing their mother's important humanitarian work. She had many memorable words of wisdom. Here are a few. The best thing to hold on to in life is each other. I love people who make me laugh. I honestly think it's the thing I like most, to laugh. It cures a multitude of ills. It's probably the most important thing in a person. Nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I'm possible. They say love is the best investment. The more you give, the more you get in return. As you grow older, you will discover that you have two hands, one for helping yourself and the other for helping others. The beauty in a woman is not in the clothes she wears, the figure she carries, or the way she combs her hair. The beauty of a woman is seen in her eyes, because that's the doorway to her heart, the place where love resides. True beauty in a woman is reflected in her soul. It's the caring that she lovingly gives, the passion that she shows. The beauty of a woman only grows with passing years. For beautiful eyes, look for the good in others. For beautiful lips, speak only words of kindness. And for poise, walk with the knowledge that you are never alone. People more than things have to be restored, revived, renewed, reclaimed, and redeemed. Never throw anyone out. The most important thing is to enjoy your life, to be happy. It's all that matters. I believe in being strong when everything seems to be going wrong. Giving is living. If you stop wanting to give, nothing else matters. I pledge to the flag of the United States of America, for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you, Carol. Let's go to song now. So we're going to try our video again, and we will see if that's going to work. All right. Thank you, Carol Robinson, for providing that song for us today. Greatly appreciated. Now we're going to go over to Mr. Dave Massey to lead us in the fine session. Still muted, David.
There we go. All right, everybody. Okay, so today is my actual birthday. I am 51 years old today. And so I decided to do a fine session, all about me. So this is gonna be a little challenging to do both, but I will do my best. Dave, I'm gonna share screen if that's all right.
You're good to go?
Okay, let's see if it works. Okay, so. Okay, so today is my birthday, as I said. So the first question is going to go to Christine Steele there. Chris, how are you this morning?
I'm a day older.
Good, so am I. All right, Chris, we're going to start you off with a softball question. Who is my father? Is it David Stowell, Felix Wang, Felix Massey, or Anakin Skywalker?
Well, I'd love to say Skywalker, but I know it's Felix Massey.
Well, that is excellent. Yes, that is Felix Massey, and
Wow.
there is Dad and I in the pool not long after my birth, based on
So cute.
my clothing. So,
What's that stuff on top of his head?
mine? That's hair. Carol Schreiber.
David, is that a $50 correct answer, $100 wrong answer, or what?
That is absolutely correct, David. $50 if you're correct, $100 if you're wrong.
All right.
And thank you, Chris. Carol Schreiber. I have two lovely children. Can you tell me what their names are? You're still muted, Carol Schreiber. Still can't hear you. All right, Carol, can you hear us? Okay, we can't hear Carol. Martin Anderson.
Well, I would say 1 and 3.
No, my kids are not Crystal. They're Alex and Jack.
Yeah.
And I got to celebrate my birthday today. $100 for Martin.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see. Paul Dryman, I saw you out there. Paul, I'm involved in on the board of directors. This club was so kind as to elect me. What is the avenue of service that I have? My club, international, vocational, community, youth, family, or the Electric Avenue?
Club service, though I'd rather say Electric Avenue, but it's club service.
Actually, I am not club service, I'm community service, but here are all the board of directors that are in those particular things. And of course, Eddie Grant sung Electric Avenue.
Starts with the same
That
letter.
was the first song I ever publicly danced to.
It starts with the same letter.
It does start with the same letter, Paul. We're proud of you for knowing that. Vicky Art. You there, Vicky?
What?
Vicky, who bested me in the joke contest? Was it Ian,
Oh, man.
Paul, Karen, or Susan?
Paul.
It was absolutely Paul Dryman. And Paul, sorry that your reign ended today. All right, who else do I have out here? Hold on a second, I gotta see who's on the list. Dave Friedel. Can you hear me, Dave? Can't hear you yet. Take yourself off mute there, Mr. Friedel. Dave, who is my co-instructor with me at RILA? Is it Darren, Savak, Felix, or Karbas?
Savak.
It is Savak. He and I teach a wonderful course where we have to get the kids to do teamwork. It's an excellent course. All right. Let's see. Bob Lewis. I'm going to include you in this one. Bob, I helped one of our members or honorary members get elected to the city of Thousand Oaks for city council. Who was that? Was that Jackie Irwin, Judy Lazar, yourself, or Denny Gillette?
I thought it was all of us.
No, I didn't like any of you folks, just Denny Gillette. Sorry. That was my small foray into public things. Okay. Let's see. Darren Aerosmith. What former Rotary president was my psychiatric patient at their demotion party? Was it Mike Murphy, Karen Fernari, Carol Freeman, or Vicky Arndt? Can't hear you, Darren.
Is this
I'm
multiple
now
choice?
unmuting. Okay. Yeah. Isn't there some type of HIPAA violation if I answer this question?
Well, it is in quotes, so I'm not going to worry about it.
Oh, okay. Probably the person I'd be most concerned about would be Vicky Arndt.
Well, I think she was already committed. No, actually, it was Carol Freeman, and this is when we actually committed her. And of course, that's Dave Butcher playing Nurse Ratched.
Yeah.
So, Kyle Lundberg, nice llama.
Yes.
Kyle, what former Rotary president did I dance for dressed in their native garb? Was it Martin Anderson, Dave Stolwell, Nate Hiramoto, or Judy St. John?
I think I missed that one, so I'm going to take a stab at it and say Nate.
Why, you are absolutely correct. Folks, the last two photos was from our wonderful demotion parties, and when we are live together, we will have so much fun making fun of Dave Stillwell, and I hope we get to do it live. And thank you for the fine session, and thanks for celebrating my birthday with me.
And Herb, we're going to do Herb too.
Absolutely.
Happy birthday, man.
And happy birthday, David.
Thank you all.
All right. Thank you, David. Great, fine session. Well, it is time for me to turn over the mic to Mr. Pat Funtime McCoy and his sidekick, Vanna. So, Funtime, it's up to you. Unmute.
I'm about happy dollars.
All right.
There you go.
Can you hear me?
Happy birthday, David.
All right. This is our 5th try at trying to get someone in today's meeting to have their name picked out of our poker draw. And so Naomi now is Vanna. I'm Pat, Vanna. And
Not looking.
she is gonna take one, and it's for 25 bucks.
Okay, here we go.
Go ahead and read it.
Oh. Hugo Roche.
Hugo Roach.
Who is he?
Is Hugo Roach here?
Yeah.
Oh.
Is he there?
Make him show his
say yes.
face.
Where is he? There he is.
Make him show his face.
Anything.
The last one and the grand prize of 25 bucks goes to you just because you were at today's meeting.
Yay!
Hey. Even though Hugo got thrown off the island last week for screen sharing, he's back and he wins the big prize. That's awesome.
Exactly.
All right, great.
That's not really Hugo, that's just a simulation.
All right, great. Well, we will start over again next week, right, Pat?
We'll start over next week, and we'll have, in addition to that, we'll have something new.
Send it over to Ian.
All right. Thank you, Pat and Vanna. Excellent.
Unfortunately, I have to go. Pleasure seeing you guys today. See you next week.
Love, love.
Oh, yes. The committee members looks like, do we have, it looks like in the chat room, we have further evidence of what's going on with the inquiry. Yes, well, they kept the race as it was after the inquiry, looking at tapes and taking evidence. It appears that Susan Marotta is, in fact, moving on. The Mad Splatter will be up in action next week against the next contestant. So, all right, thank you, Inquiry Board, for solving that problem for us. We're going to go to announcements now. Jennifer, why don't you give us an announcement about the upcoming Family of Rotary event we have going on?
Okay, great. We are having a really cool event coming up, and because we can't be in person, we did our best to create something that we could do on Zoom that would be more interactive than just sitting and talking to the computer. So if any of you saw the announcements before the meeting, we're having a virtual olive oil tasting. And so it's happening on September 4th in the evening at 6 p.m. And so what it requires is that you reserve your kit, and it will be sent directly to your home. And we will have an expert, an olive oil company owner, who will walk us through the olive oil tasting presentation. And if any of you have ever been to an olive oil tasting, it's a lot of fun. The kit is beautiful. It comes with 3 olive oils and 1 balsamic vinegar. It comes with a list of suggested items to bring for tasting, breads and those types of things. So again, it's a family event. So we encourage you all to come, bring your family, bring your friends, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. So please let me know if you'd like to participate. And we need to know by August 24th. The cost is $25 and it will be billed to your Rotary account. So love to have you. Thank you.
They ship to North Carolina?
Absolutely. Why not?
Yep, apparently. So we'd love to have everybody on, and friends and family, bring everybody, and let's have a great party, and it should be a lot of fun.
Great.
Let's go.
So we're checking in with you, right, Jennifer?
Yeah, just let me know the address that you'd like it to be sent to, and that you'd like to be a participant, and then I'm going to be forwarding that to the company by August 24th.
What time of the day is it?
Want to be billed?
Send you an email, or do I just mail a check to you if I want to join?
Let's email.
Okay.
Let's email Janet offline.
Okay.
And so I'll make sure. I know I've got you on Facebook, so I can get you at least there first.
Okay.
What time on
Good
the
to see you,
4th?
by the way.
Great seeing you, Jennifer.
Jennifer, what time on the 4th?
Jennifer,
6
for
o'clock.
organizing that. Let's go to Ian. Ian's has a follow-up announcement. Ian?
Oh my God, sorry. What's up, everybody? I know you got the email I sent earlier today about the 5240 challenge. The website is up, but as was earlier stated by I think it was KT, you can't donate $52.40 online. So if you are interested in still donating online, just because you want to be a Paul Harris Fellow by the end of the year, you can still do that. But if not, feel free to cut a check and mail it to the club so that we can have 100% participation in this challenge. And again, all this money comes back to us. This is the money that we use for our local and international grants. So thank you. And I'll keep
Can I add to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
If you want to be billed for it, just email me, Chris, that you want to be billed for the 5240, or if you're going to just send a check, I guess if I were you, I would make it out to the Rotary Foundation. And if you want to send it to the club, go ahead and we'll pass it along. But I can bill you for it as well. So let me know.
Even easier. Yeah. Sharon, you had something you wanted to say?
No, can we do $53? Would that still register? Is that, I know you're trying to do that, those particular numbers, but.
Yeah, I'll make it work. I'll figure out how to.
Right. I'm going to go ahead and do it with the club. Thanks.
Okay, sure.
All right, thank you. I want to remind everybody that our district governor will be here next week. So the board will be meeting with her at 11, and then she will be on at 11:45. We're still working out some kind of a social hour that evening or Friday evening with our district governor. That'll be an online Zoom social event. So hopefully everybody will be here. We have several awards that will be presented to club members at that event next Thursday. So hopefully we'll have everybody here, and it should be a great visit. She's a terrific district governor, and I'm very excited that she's going to be here at least by Zoom. And then if we're ever live again, she is going to make another visit to all the clubs live. So that's a good thing to look forward to. I'd like to go now to Felix Massey, who's going to do Happy Dollar. So if you have a happy dollar, if you would raise your hand or stick up your thumb or do something so we know that you're there, and Felix will call on you.
Actually, Dave, I turned it over to Darren. So Darren, take over.
Darren's taking over. All right, Darren, it's up to you.
Yeah, we've been, going ahead and passing it around there. So For happy dollars, we're going to use the chat feature. Hopefully everybody knows how to do that. I'm looking at the chats. So if you have a happy dollar, type in the amount and I will call on you in the order that it shows up in the chat columns. So I am looking right now. If anybody doesn't know how to use the chat, we're going to fine you for not knowing how to use it. Waiting for a happy dollar to show up. Okay, Janet Hartley, unmute yourself, and she's giving 10 happy dollars.
I'm going to go ahead and give 10 happy dollars to all my dear friends at Rotary and TO. And I'm sending all my love from Las Vegas and hoping COVID will be over very soon so I can see you all.
Thanks, Janet. Next in line, Mike Hebert has one happy dollar.
Actually, I have a sad dollar. Chris has informed me that now I have to pay for my happy dollars. She's sending me a bill.
Well, she's good like that. Okay, Martin has 23, I think, dollars.
Yeah, it's 23, I think, dollars, because I have to check with Hugo. Yeah, I believe it's my 23rd anniversary on Saturday. But Elaine and I have been married, but Hugo always likes to correct me and tell me it's a different time or different length of time. So unless he objects, it'll be $23.
It's really 46, Martin.
There you go, 46. There you go. Okay, Martin, it's scary that you're looking for corrections from Hugo. Just saying.
I understand that, but we go back a long time. And, you know, it's like having walls on a racquetball court.
Okay, let's see here. Next up is David Massey, has 5240, I'm assuming for a happy reason. David, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Okay, so it's just a happy birthday. It's a $52.40 for my 51st birthday, but it won't go in the happy dollar cup, but it will go to the foundation.
There you go. Okay, that sounds good. Do we have any other people that would like to say anything? Any happy dollars? Let's see. Okay, Ian Klieger has one happy dollar. Ian, unmute yourself and go ahead.
Actually, it's 51 happy dollars for my buddy's birthday.
51.
And
gotcha.
Dave, soon as we can start going to lunch again without poisoning each other's families with COVID, I'm looking forward to it.
Me too, Dina. Me too.
That's awesome. Okay, 51. That's a good way. That's a hefty donation there. Anybody else?
Yeah, Darren.
Okay.
Okay.
For David, we'll give $51 in honor of his birthday today. Happy birthday, Dave.
Okay. All right, Felix. Thank you very much, Dave Friedel.
That wasn't me. That wasn't me, Darren.
Oh. I'm sorry. There's three people in the picture. I'm very confused. There's two men. One's in a tux. I don't know what's going on. Let's see here. Dave Friedel has 10 happy dollars. I'm assuming happy dollars. Dave?
Yeah, I just wanted to shout out again to Ian for taking care of my kids. Finally got my insurance over to Ian's office, and so now my family and my mom are all coming to see Ian, and so far so good. Ian, I'll let you know if anything goes wrong.
Yeah, thank you.
But thank you so much, Ian.
Next up is Jason Corey, $5. Jason?
I've just got 5 happy dollars because my buddy Bill Walthall is watching this, wanting to listen to Sharon. So I just wanted to do a shout out to him.
Cool. All right. All right. I don't see any other names popping up in the chat. I don't see any hands up. So with that, I'm handing it back over to our club president. Thank you.
Thanks, Darren. Greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Darren.
All right, let's go to Jason Corey, who's going to introduce our guest speaker today. So Jason, just a reminder, if when we go to the speaker, if you would all put your mute on so that we can eliminate the background noise, that would be terrific. So Jason, over to you.
Well, our speaker today is Dr. Sharon Norling. There's so much that I could say about Dr. Norling. She's phenomenal in so many different ways. The facts related around her is she did practice in Westlake Village for a while, and then just recently moved to North Carolina, where she continues to do her practice. She's an integrative and advanced functional medicine doctor. I can go into where she went to school and all the degrees that she has and everything else, but you're going to find out just how incredibly educated she is and what she knows here shortly. So I really don't need to do that. She does have a book. It's called The Doctor is Wrong. And it's absolutely phenomenal what is inside that book. To just do a quick little side note, I read that book and then I handed that book to one of the partners in my firm. And he read some things on some gastrointestinal stuff that rang a bell with him with one of his family members. So he actually contacted his family member, and I think Sharon got on the phone and they talked for maybe 20 minutes, and she recommended some tests that should be taken. And keep in mind, whatever gastro issue he had, I don't know what it was, but it had actually kept him out of work. It had cost him his job, really kind of ruined his life for about 10 years. 20 minutes on the phone with Sharon, he gets this idea to take this test, to look for this particular thing inside this test. Sharon could probably go into a whole lot more detail of whatever it was, but the bottom line is he's doing great. He took the test, they found the small antibody or whatever the heck it was that they were looking for. They made the modification in his diet, gave him the proper pills. He's back at work after 10 years. His whole life has changed. So from my perspective, Dr. Norling kind of walks on water to some extent with some of her knowledge and what she can do in a very short period of time. A couple more facts about her. She was a Rotarian for over 20 years at the Westlake Sunrise Rotary Club. She was the second woman in Rotary in California and the first woman in her Rotary Club. She has family connections to Rotary, and she's just an absolutely phenomenal woman. So without anything else that I could praise upon her, and I could continue to go for a while, here's Sharon Norling.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
You're still muted, Sharon.
You're muted, Sharon.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, that's good.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you, Jason, for that wonderful introduction. My children should have been here to hear that. But I am really excited about being in your Rotary Club today and to be able to present. And I know a lot of the people that are in the audience, and it feels like I'm coming back home here to California. So thank you so much for inviting me. I will never forget her.
Hendersonville, North Carolina. Integrative.
I will never forget her. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you. If everybody else would please mute.
But I started to share that I will never forget her. I remember her laying on the sofa, curled up in pain. And she went to the local doctors and they said, there's nothing wrong with you. She went to Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they said, there's nothing wrong with you. She went to the Mayo Clinic and they said, there's nothing wrong with you. And they put her on antipsychotic medications. Within a year, she died of stomach and esophageal cancer. She was 38 years of age. I was 12 and she was my mother. That instilled in me a passion, not only to go into healthcare, but to always listen to the patient. And when I was in medical school, there were lots of stuff, or lots of things that we learned about in medicine, lots of things we learned about in surgery. And there was a whole bunch of stuff that we really didn't learn about, which I've had the opportunity to learn after medical school. And just as an aside, I became a nurse first at the Mayo Clinic because that's what young women did at the time that I was graduating from high school. But I always wanted to be a physician. So that dream became a reality later in my life. But when I was out in California, in Westlake Village, as the first woman surgeon and the first woman OBGYN, and both hospitals, Westlake Community Hospital and Los Robles, I was practicing conventional approaches, writing the medications for antidepressants, anti-anxiety, antipsychotics, antibiotics, anti-inflammatory, anti-aging, antacids, and of course I was a gynecologist, so antifungals. But I was just treating the tip of the iceberg. And I loved doing OBGYN, but I knew that there was more to the picture. So today I practice functional medicine, and it is actually taking the best of conventional medicine. I trained and went to medical school at Case Western Reserve School of Medicine, trained at UCLA, USC, and really appreciate that education. But now I also use it with the best of natural effective medications. And I look at the whole patient. I don't just look at a body part. And I find the underlying cause of the disease or the symptoms. I mean, how can you fix something if you don't even know what's causing it? And it's personalized medicine. I think treating the average is way overrated. And I think that one size fits all doesn't work. And so I wrote this book for all the patients who've ever been dismissed, misdiagnosed, or just written a prescription to cover up the symptoms. And people said to me, how do you dare write, a book with that title? Well, because, in medicine, we've all been wrong at some point. But today I'm going to talk about how can you live well in this pandemic. And it really is unprecedented times. I'm going to talk about mood chemistry, what's going on in the brain with neurotransmitters, the GI tract, thyroid, adrenal, of course, sex hormones. Whenever I talk to Rotary clubs, it's just a given that I have to talk about sex. And then I'm going to talk about the immune system and how we can actually support our bodies to decrease the risk of COVID or any infections. So we know in nutrition, we know what's real easy. We know what's real life, but we know what's really important. And I could spend hours on nutrition, but we all basically know that the whole foods, organic, are really the best way to eat. And exercise is so important. Now, many of you know I'm a good friend of Sheila Clough's, and I had the opportunity to travel for 15 years around the world with her. And as you know, Sheila was just a fitness expert, and she loved to exercise. So we were going from Los Angeles to Sydney, Australia. And I got on the plane and I was tired, and I thought, oh, I can't wait to get to Australia and I'm going to take a nap. No naps. We were hiking in the bush, going thermo garden, jogging on the beach, doing filming for CNN in Australia. And it was 24/7. And after about 3 days of that, I looked at Sheila and I said, Sheila, I have not had this much fun since I was in labor. So let's take a look at the mood chemistry and neurotransmitters, because during this time, but even before the coronavirus and the anxiousness about job losses and the economy and all the things that we're dealing with today, all at the same time, I thought that there was an epidemic of mood disorders. People were so stressed. And today it's even more so. People are more anxious, they're depressed, they have mood swings, they can't sleep, they might be in pain, they lack motivation, and they can't focus very well, and they're just tired. Sometimes you feel like this, and you just can't take it anymore. And sometimes you're just exhausted and just finished with, enough of this, lifestyle the way it is right now. But what causes stress? What causes the imbalance? Yes, we know the things I've just mentioned, but it could be work or not working now. It could be children. It could be the kids at home or the kids that are gone and we can't see them. It could be your husband. It could be not having a husband. It could be a boyfriend. It could be not having a boyfriend. It could be having a husband and a boyfriend, to really stress things out. But what are the neurotransmitters? Well, they're actually chemical messengers in the nervous system, and they actually define all the moods, the action, and the health conditions that we have. And there are two basic groups. One is inhibitory, kind of calming. The other is excitatory, neurotransmitters. Well, today, for the most part, my conventional colleagues will write for Zoloft, Paxil, Wellbutrin, Celexa, Abilify, Prozac. But they don't test. Now, how can you write a prescription for a mood-altering pharmaceutical drug and not know what the balance of the neurotransmitters are? I mean, we wouldn't do that for thyroid. We wouldn't give diabetes or give insulin to a diabetic if we didn't know the blood sugar. The standard of care in medicine is to test through the laboratory or through imaging, to confirm what you believe is the diagnosis. So this can be tested. And about 40 to 50% of my patients now are still from California, and I'm getting new ones from California all the time. So I do telemedicine in North Carolina, which is very handy now with COVID as well. But I see patients from all over the country. We send the test kits to their home. They have prepaid shipping labels on them. They do the urine and saliva, collections at home, put them back in the box, ship it back, and we get the lab report. And then we can actually treat that patient for those symptoms with targeted nutrient therapies. We don't need to use the pharmaceutical drugs. And then we can retest in about 8 to 10 weeks, the patient's feeling better, and we can document that on the lab. So again, you'll hear me throughout this talk. The testing is so important because sometimes we just feel like this. And I so enjoyed the laughter and the camaraderie and the jokes listening to your club, today. So Rotary is a great place to help, relieve stress. Well, sometimes it's kind of related, but I just wanted to share with you the 4-way test, and you're very familiar with that. But this is the 4-way test from the Westlake Sunrise Club. Is it close to the truth? Is it fair to most concern? Will it build goodwill and help me live longer? And will anyone find out? And I think that was actually written by Denise Hawkins. I mentioned that there's inhibitory neurotransmitters, and these are basically serotonin and GABA. So if your serotonin is low, you feel anxious, you feel depressed or low mood. About 70% of people can't sleep, or they might crave carbohydrates. And about 70% also have pain. If you have low GABA, yeah, you're anxious too. You also might worry, and people are restless when they have low GABA. Before COVID, I was doing a lot of traveling and speaking, and I'd be in airports looking at men. Well, I wasn't in the airports looking at men, but I would see them with their legs bouncing up and down. And I would think, oh my gosh, he's got low GABA. And then I thought, Norling, you got to get a life. You can't be in airports diagnosing people with, a neurotransmitter imbalance. But these are the symptoms that I mentioned with low serotonin. Menopausal symptoms are worse. You can get GI symptoms from low serotonin. You can get IBS because about 95% of serotonin is actually made in your GI tract. We think about these being made in the brain, but they're also made in the gastrointestinal tract. And then there's the excitatory neurotransmitters like dopamine. And dopamine is that feel good, that neurotransmitter of joy and euphoria. You got a bounce in your step and you got good libido when you're motivated. It's that really feel good neurotransmitter. But when it's low, of course, the opposite feelings are there. If norepinephrine, epinephrine, and glutamate are low, you're tired. You just don't have the energy. You don't have the stamina like you used to have. And with low epinephrine, you actually can have blood sugar dysregulations, get like shaky if you miss a meal, or have difficulty losing weight. And in that group too, you lack focus. And here's some of the things that I just mentioned: low libido, fatigue, and you kind of lack the meaning of life. There's a higher risk for addictions with those, and the lack again of focus and concentration. So how do we treat these? And again, I mentioned before, there's a kit you can do at home. Then based on the symptoms in the lab, we use the targeted nutrient therapies instead of mood altering drugs. The advantage for that is you don't have the side effects or the drug-drug interactions of a mood altering pharmaceutical drug, or the issues with possible dependence or withdrawal. And the patients feel better. And then later we'll retest just to make sure that you're on the right path, or we might adjust the different supplements. So now I'm going to talk about an area that I think doesn't get quite as much attention, or it should be getting more attention. The gastrointestinal tract is so very important. It is our second brain. We make 30 neurotransmitters in our gut. And there's a vagus nerve that connects the GI tract up to the brain. But most of the signaling comes from the gut to the brain. That's where we digest our food, absorb our nutrients. And the GI tract is actually 30 feet long. It's about the size of a tennis court, and it has 100 million nerve cells in it. It has more neurons or nerve cells than the spinal column and the peripheral nervous system. So if you're suffering from abdominal pain, bloating, indigestion, heartburn, there's something wrong. There's something out of order there. And as I mentioned, 80% of our immune system is located in our gut. So if we have GI symptoms, we are more vulnerable to infections, and including the one we're dealing with now. So it's really important to have a healthy GI system. So we have a good immune system to fight off not only infections, but also every day we get little cancer cells that are going through our body. And we want to be able to take care of those right away. And so that's why if you have an issue, like for our patients that live in California or even other places throughout the United States, we actually send a kit, to their home. They collect the sample, put the prepaid shipping label on it, and send it to the lab. There's two things that really affect the GI tract. One is hidden food sensitivities, and the other is gluten sensitivity, but it also could be a hidden infection. So when we get this information, and it has to be personalized. If you go to a gastroenterologist and they give you A, B, C, or D, and your neighbor's on A, B, C, or D, and so is your coworker, but they really haven't been tested. And I want to share with you that basic labs, which are good, but Quest, LabCorp, the basic labs, they get stool samples about 5 to 20% accurate. That's not good enough. And the case that Jason was mentioning had I think the basic tests before, and they were unable to find the cause of his symptoms. So using these specialty tests are really important. So then when we find out what the problem is, we remove it, or if they need more digestive enzymes, which it will tell us, we'll replace those. We re-inoculate with probiotics. I'm going to say more about probiotics because probiotics can decrease anxiety, depression, and help with your mind to think more clearly. We don't usually associate that, but that is true. And then we repair, the gastrointestinal tract. And of course, all of the symptoms that people can have really need rebalancing with good lifestyle, hormones, neurotransmitters. Because you think, well, what does neurotransmitters have to do with the GI tract? Well, of course, that's where they're made. The same thing with hormones, the same thing with digestion of good nutrients. It's a powerful system, and it really protects us with a great immune system. So I've been very interested in the microbiome. The microbiome is the organisms that live in your GI tract. They also live in your skin. They live throughout your body. But I'm going to focus more on the gastrointestinal tract. So our body has 10 trillion cells, 23,000 genes. Now, the fruit fly has 16,000 genes. So it's kind of humbling to know that. But the organisms have 100 trillion cells, 10 times more cells in the bacteria and the microbiome in our bodies than we have human cells. And then there's 3.3 million genes. The good bacteria is the majority of it, about 80 to 90%, and the bad bacteria about 10%. But if you have IBS or symptoms, that ratio is off. And the bacteria can be good bacteria, it can be bad bacteria, it can be parasites, it can be fungi, candida, yeast infections. But the key is figuring out. And I want to share this about the probiotics because I just was asked to write, well, actually I wrote it and it's just published by Springer. In integrative and functional medical nutrition therapeutics. And I wrote the chapter on probiotics, the microbiome, and the brain health. And it's on Amazon. I told my girlfriend that in Minnesota. She said, oh, I think I'll get it, for my niece, because she just graduated from nursing school. And then she went to Amazon. She said, it's too expensive. I'm not going to buy it. So I don't put the price on those. But and then you think, oh, that's great. You wrote a book, you're going to get some income. No, we get one free copy of the book. So that was the compensation. But it was a great learning experience for me. So why is this happening now? I mean, these are a lot of the diseases we have now, we didn't have before a few generations ago. But there's too many toxins, too many changes, and you can see the numbers of increases of cases of a wide range of diseases, whether it's MS or Crohn's or type 1 diabetes, asthma, from 1950 to the 2000s. And that's because too many medications, our diets aren't very good. I mean, it's what we've done to our bodies that is really creating a lot of these diseases. So there's always parts to a puzzle. And as I mentioned, the neurotransmitters and the microbiome, they all work together. The next thing I'm going to talk about is thyroid function. Now, thyroid is the most underdiagnosed endocrine system in the country. And clearly you can see the goiter. And that's the other thing. The labs are very important, but we shouldn't be treating labs. We should be treating the patient. If you go to get your thyroid lab done and the doctor only orders a TSH, that's not good enough. It's not good enough at all. You need to have the free T3 done. That's the active thyroid hormone. and the T4, and also the thyroid antibodies to see if you have Hashimoto's. If you have Hashimoto's thyroiditis, you probably have a gluten sensitivity. I have patients who will come to me and say, thyroid disease or low thyroid runs in my family. And I say, oh, probably not. And they say, well, my mother has it, my cousin has it, and 2 of my sisters and 4 of my aunts. So you would think it would run in the family. But gluten causes low thyroid, and gluten runs in families. So the people develop a gluten sensitivity, and then they develop the thyroid disease. So I want to just show this to you because everyone here in the Rotary Club of Thousand Oaks can now diagnose low thyroid. If you see people and the outer 1/3 of their eyebrows are missing, they have hypothyroidism. And even like Jennifer Strong, I mean, she could be in the bank and a client comes in and she could just look at her or him and say, you know, I think you have low thyroid. You should see a doctor. And I'm not sure if she did that, if they would open an account or not. But these are some of the symptoms of low thyroid. People are cold. If you have been told your thyroid labs are normal and you're experiencing cold, like cold, your hands and feet, and you're usually colder than anyone else in the room, you have low thyroid. You cannot accept the fact that you have not been diagnosed for it because it's there. And that's because of low T3 generally. But people are tired. They have constipation, fuzzy thinking, depression, pain, hair loss, and you will begin to see a pattern where it's not just low thyroid that has these, but also GI symptoms have these symptoms and the neurotransmitters. Also, if a patient comes to me and they have high cholesterol, certainly I order specific labs called the Boston Heart Lab, very thorough, very comprehensive, more than just the little bit of information we get about your cholesterol, good cholesterol, bad cholesterol, and all that, from just a basic chemistry panel. But I also test their thyroid, which I do on every patient. If their thyroid is low and I treat the thyroid, the cholesterol will come down. Patients might have swelling and insomnia, low libido, morning stiffness when they get up. So now we're going to go over to the adrenal glands. And the adrenal glands are really important, and they also aren't talked about very much or diagnosed often enough. So the adrenal glands sit right on top of the kidneys. So if you have a cortisol deficiency, adrenal insufficiency, adrenal fatigue, your immune system is compromised. And you hear me talk about the immune system because we want to live well and stay healthy and live a long life, and we need to survive this pandemic. And so much of it is related to the immune system. But if the adrenals are compromised, your immune system is compromised. You're tired. You have inflammation. You have trouble getting up in the morning, even if you've slept 8, 9, 10 hours. It's kind of slow moving. And then you might get a little bit more energy, but then you'll get like daytime sleepiness. It's like someone turned the lights off in the afternoon. But you might get a second wind at night, and that's the best part of your day. You might be sensitive to loud noises, startle easily, and crave salt. And you really can't tolerate the stress that you used to. Now, here is Jason. He's losing a little hair here during the tax season. And he's got daytime sleepiness, just right over the top of his computer. Oh, and I want to say, just to remind myself, that if anyone, and I've never offered this to a Rotary Club, even my own Rotary Club, but I'm covering a lot of material today. And if anyone wants to do a discovery call call my office. I'll talk to you for 15 minutes, no charge. If you have questions about your immune system, supplements, any health condition, I'll be happy to answer any of those. So I just wanted to give you that offer. It's 828-595-9880. You can also go to my website, drsharonnorling.com, for additional information on your health. So now we're getting to the really good part of this talk, and trying to keep track of time here. We're going to talk about sex hormones. Some of the women in Rotary may be perimenopausal. And I've been asked to write my second book called The Rocky Road to Menopause. And what happens when you get into the perimenopausal area, you'll kind of wake up perspiring. You can't sleep. Your periods get shorter or longer, closer together, further apart, heavier or lighter, can be all over the board. But the other interesting thing is chapter 4. Now, I'm not saying there are any men in this club that fit the description there, but women have said to me, you've got to write chapter 4. And then all your patients kind of disappear and everyone starts to irritate you. And you sort of give new meaning to mood swings. And then you can't remember from one room to the other. So you go into the next room and you've got, intentions, and you walk in there and you think, what am I doing here? What was I going to do when I came in here? And then you turn around, walk out of the room, and you hope no one saw you do it. And then that transitions into menopausal symptoms. And again, you will see very similar symptoms of difficulty sleeping, anxiety, depression, brain fog, memory loss. And you'll also get vaginal dryness. And I have been a gynecologist and worked in women's health for decades. And I will share with you that women want sex. They do not want their vagina to be as dry as the Sahara Desert. They don't want cobwebs in their vagina, okay? But they are concerned about hormones. And this study came out fairly recently in 2015 by the Mayo Clinic, studying 52,000 women, because the question comes up, should you use hormone replacement therapy? And the conclusion of that study said that there was no effect in the women's risk of dying from any cause using estrogen or estrogen progesterone. It did not increase the risk of dying from any cause, including cancer, heart disease or heart attacks, or stroke. And we really want to feel, like this. We want to have the energy, but you have to test these hormones as well. Now, I'm going to talk more about hormones because it's really important, not just for the things that we've mentioned, but for your overall health. And there's basically two categories, synthetic and then bioidentical. And you should always get bioidentical. We generally don't give the pills anymore for men or women. The patches work about 45% of the time. The creams and gels work to the point where the patient feels better, but it doesn't always increase the levels, the blood levels, to be able to protect the patient from the other areas that they have. But I want to go back to this slide because if you are balanced in your hormones, you not only feel better, you not only feel better and have more energy, and your symptoms of cognitive function are improved. Your cholesterol can be lowered. You have good protection for your bones. But for women, using hormone replacement therapy decreases the risk of osteoporosis by 37%, decreases hip fractures by 50%, decreases colon cancer by 30% and decreases a wide range of symptoms. So there's a lot of benefits for men and for women to consider hormone replacement therapy. Now, this is a slide documented in research. We know that women get Alzheimer's 8 times more than men. And if women are balanced with their hormones and estrogen throughout their life, they decrease the risk of Alzheimer's by 50%. Men who have low testosterone are 3 times more likely to develop Alzheimer's. So being tested for testosterone is huge, because not only if it's low, and if you go to the doctor and you get your testosterone checked and it's 200, 300, 400, and the doctor says, that's, you're fine, it's normal. It's not normal. It is not normal. The optimal range for men with testosterone is 800 to 1,000. When it's low in the 200-300s, it doubles your risk of cancer, doubles your risk of diabetes, doubles your risk of heart disease, and increases the risk for osteoporosis, muscle wasting, as well as, erectile function and in feeling better. But all these neurotransmitters all sort of dance together. So you can't just look at one body part. You can't just treat one system, because it's like sitting on a one-legged stool. And now we're going to talk about the immune system. And we know exactly about the 3 W's. And it's so important when you're out, when you're getting gas in your car, always have a glove on. You don't know who's been on that, pump before you. And be careful when you're even in grocery stores. I wear a mask and gloves and carry Lysol wipes in, and no one's put me in an institution yet. But everything that's in the grocery store or any other place has been touched by someone. And we know that 40% of all people who are infected with COVID have no symptoms. They feel great. So they don't know they're carrying it. They don't know they're spreading it, and you don't know they're spreading it to you. And make sure you wash your hands. When I go back out to the car, I don't touch my car with the gloves on, because they've been contaminated in the grocery store or wherever I've been. I take them off. Because your hands are clean underneath, I don't want to open the car door, touch the steering wheel, gear shift, anything. So I know I'm really careful. And I've been tested 3 times. I'm a physician, and we see patients 1 day a week doing the pellets. So I'm very respectful of the risk of COVID. So as a summary, we know about whole foods, exercise, neurotransmitter balance, gut health, sex hormone replacement, thyroid, adrenal, everything that I've talked about today. It's all a part of helping your system. And the immune system can also be supported by vitamin C. You need to take probably about 2,000 milligrams. Vitamin D, very important. If your vitamin D is low, you increase your risk for diabetes, Alzheimer's, heart disease, and cancer. Also depression and irritable bowel, just to name a few. The optimal range, because people say, well, how much vitamin D should I take? Depends on your blood level. Always have your vitamin D checked. And it should be between 50 and 70. Zinc is also great, probiotics, transfer factor, echinacea, the list goes on to support your immune system, as well as the other things that we've talked about. And again, have your vitamin D level checked. And checking the other systems, because I want to show you this to summarize. When we look at hormones or neurotransmitters or thyroid, look at the symptoms. Many of them are all the same. So how do you know what you're treating unless you're testing? So during this time, it's also important not only to be healthier, but to live longer. And we know that sex is very, very important to help you through this pandemic because it enhances your immune system. It reduces heart disease, burns calories, regulates your hormones. And the more sex you have, the longer you live. And if any of you guys in the audience or men, are thinking of getting frisky and you talk to your wife, your girlfriend, and they say, "Oh, honey, I have a headache." Well, you can tell them that you have the cure because sex cures headaches and decreases pain. It also decreases stress. And the more sex you have, the less risk you have for prostate cancer. And one of the questions I often get is, isn't it dangerous for men to take testosterone because doesn't it increase the risk for prostate cancer? The answer is no. The answer is no. Because when you think about it, when guys are in their 20s or 30s or 40s, their 50s, and they've got that testosterone going, they don't get prostate cancer. It's when the testosterone becomes lower and lower and lower that we begin to see prostate cancer. And I've been trained by Dr. Morgan Taylor, professor of urology at Harvard, just on testosterone. And I like this slide because at the University of Minnesota, we were studying, is there sex before the menopause or after the menopause? And we did a study, and it actually included Thousand Oaks, and I think some of you in the Rotary Club were probably a part of that.
Dr. Norling?
Yes.
Dr. Norling, I'm going to have to interrupt you real quickly here. We have run out of time. We're running a little past our cutoff time. A lot of people are going to have to leave.
Yes, could I have one more minute?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so this is a sexual frequency across a lifespan. And we had one person that tested out as a 30-year-old. Now, he was an older gentleman, but he tested out as 30 years of age. So I just wanted to share that with you. And I want to thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to your club. And congratulations on your anniversary as well, Martin.
Sharon,
Thank
you
you.
can cover my age bracket.
I'm going to
Thank you.
sue somebody.
Let's get a screenshot of that, please. Make sure we have that for future history of the club. Thank you, Dr. Norling. I wish we had more time, and certainly we can stay on after for those who have time. If you have a couple of minutes, Doctor, afterwards to answer any questions. Probably like your book deal, you got a free book. Well, this is kind of the same thing here at Rotary. We don't give anything other than free books. We give a book to the Title I school in your name for kids in schools in our local area. So thank you again for that great talk. I want to thank our greeters, Karen and Tony and Nate today. Happy Dollars with Darren, Note Takers by Hader, Inspirational Moment and Pledge by Carol Schreiber, Song provided by Carol Robinson, Fine Session, Dave Massey, Fun Time, Mr. Pat McCoy. Thank our guest, Janet Hartley, Jill Etterer, Mike Hebert. The inquiry has been decided, so I'll leave you with this. Start by doing what's necessary, then do what's possible, and suddenly you are doing the impossible. So says St. Francis of Assisi. So let's go forth, Rotarians. Let's do the impossible out there and change the world. That's all there is for this August 13th, 2020. If you'd like to stay on for a few minutes and have some questions and answers with Dr. Norling, we will do that. Everyone else, have a great week.
Thanks, Sharon. Nice having
Thank
you.
you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No.
Thanks, Sharon. That was pretty awesome.
So Sharon, you live in North Carolina now?
Yeah.
Yes, so I'm still online and I'll be happy to answer questions.
Okay, so if I leave now, I should get there by what, Sunday? Yeah, I will be contacting you. This has been very eye-opening.
Great. Do we have any other questions for Dr. Norling before we let her go?
And if not, if you think of any later, you can always call my office and I'll be happy to talk with you too.
Great.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks,
Jason,
Sharon.
thank you. Appreciate it much, Doctor. We enjoyed it, and I'm sure you'll get some calls. So thanks so much.
You're so
Everybody have a
welcome.
great day. We'll see you next week.
Okay.
Bye, Dr.